Hello, hello, and welcome, my Cancerian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Twin Flame contract read for May, June 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and damn happy to be serving you today. My mother is a Cancerian. I was raised by one of you crabs, so get ready. I'm ready to spill the tea across the table about your Twin Flame contract. But first, down to some basic business. If you are new to my channel, please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell because I am putting out content every single day, pretty much. I mean, I can remember. I usually do a live stream in the morning and a live stream at night, one or the other, just to help us get through this challenging time on planet Earth, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But also feel free to comment in the comment section below, because I like the feedback, right? I'm living on my own here during this challenging time on planet Earth with my 3 kitty cats. My 3 black cats, being the witch that I am. Why wouldn't I have 3 black cats? My 3 sons. Very Fred McMurray, if you picking up when I'm laying down there. Otherwise, please remember, this is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You're a Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus sign, so I'm figuring you've got that intuitive piece under control to some extent. And do check your other signs. That's why I'm keeping these relatively short. Upload times have been insane. Really, 2 hours for a 30-minute video to upload to YouTube. And that's not YouTube's fault. That's just everybody's on the internet, right? So we're only doing 13 cards here. You'll like the spread. It's simple, but it's informative. Like me. Virgo. Hardly simple. Ask my Cancerian mother how simple I am. She'll say, yeah, not at all. That being said, this is a Twin Flame contract read. The Twin Flames are not soulmates. They are very different. There are some links in the description box below explaining the difference if you want to check those out. Essentially, the foundation of a Twin Flame contract is 2 souls incarnate to teach each other how to love themselves. Sounds nice, but really that means they can't give you the love that you want, right? Doesn't mean they don't love you, they just can't give you the kind of love that you want. And they're not all romantic sexual. My father and I, God rest his soul, were definitely a Twin Flame contract. He wanted a heterosexual son. He got one. My brother Matthew, I'm Mark. Do you catch the Catholic going on there? Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't give him that. So he couldn't give me the acceptance that I wanted from my father. That's okay. I gave it to myself. Thanks, Dad. And we loved each other, obviously. He was my father. I was his son. There was a love there. But just the level of acceptance, I kind of blew his Republican walls down, so to speak. So you get what I'm talking about. And so it is in this reading. This reading may not be about a romantic sexual twin flame dealy-yo. It can be any form of relationship, but that's the point. The more twin flame contracts you have, the more you learn to become the mate of your own soul. Hence, a soul mate. And those aren't even all romantic sexual because my mom and I are soulmates. So go watch the vids down there. They're pretty good. Especially the one from Matt Kahn. I adore him. And we're going to be using his Healing Mantra deck as the last card down in this reading. This is a contract reading, so think of it as party number 1. We're going to call Divine Feminine. Party number 2, Divine Masculine, has nothing to do with bodily gender. Please don't drag me for that. I'm going to use the masculine and feminine pronouns so my brain doesn't melt down. It's just easier that way as the reader. Other than that, if you'll focus on your breath and I'll focus on my breath, we will all be in the present moment. I'll be able to get you the guidance and grace that I've been training my whole life for this YouTube career to do this, and you'll be able to feel what resonates and what doesn't. Cool. Let's get up in this game. All the decks that I read are in the description box all the way at the bottom if you want to go check them out. There's some other cool links down there, some classes that I've done Vimeo on demand. Check them out. Cool. Let's do this. We're going to start with 2 Caroline Mace archetype cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. Breathe. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine in this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Twin Flame contract for May, June 2020. There you are. Please give me one for the Divine Feminine. 1 to represent the divine feminine, and please 1 to represent the divine masculine. In this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract, May-June 2020. Let's see who our maybe not so happy couple is. Well, we have got the divine feminine artist archetype, and we've got the divine masculine orphan child archetype. I have this one and I have this one, but I have no planets in Cancer. So the thing about archetypes is that they are neutral, as depicted in this deck with a shadow and a light attribute. The shadow attributes, though, are tricky and nobody wants to really address them. These are the things that you are being taught how to heal within yourself in a twin flame contract. In other words, your twin flame can't help you heal this, but they might be dancing on that button, like dancing on your last nerve. So the shadow attribute of the artist archetype, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, throwing cell phones at your staff, etc. Posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Honey, I don't know any starving artists that had to pose for it. They were starving for something or other. The light attribute, explaining a dimension of life, expressing this light goes right into my retina and it gives me that white dot. Expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically, which is definitely what an artist does. Unfortunately, I have seen so many people with creative congestion, creative constipation, because they don't identify themselves as artists, because they don't sing, dance, or paint, the performing arts, the visual arts, and yet, ask them to cook for you and it's a masterpiece, right? Or the way that their home is done is very artful, or how they garden, right? This is the creative family of archetypes the artist belongs to, and my mom, a Cancerian, a divine feminine, definitely is an artist. She was a nursery school teacher. That's why I'm good at shapes and colors. However, we have the divine orphan child here in the divine masculine, being the only homosexual male in my family for generations. It kind of feels like the odd man out, even though I was not literally orphaned. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. The shadow attribute, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, absolutely happened to me. Seeking inappropriate surrogate families, you have no idea. Wait till the autobiography comes out someday. The heinous clique. The light attributes, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering a fear of surviving. Check. So, very interesting combo here, an artist and an orphan child archetype, considering they might actually cross-pollinate there in terms of archetypal dynamic. But don't worry if you're not sure which one you are just yet. We are going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to clarify the Divine Feminine, and 5 cards from the Mythic Tarot to clarify the Divine Masculine. We're going to be doing the element spread for both of them. Watch how we make it our own. Nice deep breath. Ooh. Come back here, you. Almost tiddlywinked across the room. Voices of the goddesses. Please, my goddesses. 5 cards, the element spread for this Cancerian artist archetype. Divine Feminine artist archetype in this Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for May, June 2020. Please. Element of fire, what is it that she desires? Element of earth, what does she have to help her attain or create or get what she desires? There's our element of earth. Element of air, what is she thinking? Ooh, right at the top of the deck. Element of water, what is she feeling? And element of spirit, what is the voice of the soul in this twin flame soul contract? I didn't say soulmate. Twin flames are soul contracts, as are soulmate contracts, but like I said, the bottom lines are very different. Okay, let's read. So we've got the Divine Feminine Artist archetype. What she wants is to get her fingers in the clay. Three of Pentacles, Clay Woman. Clay Woman takes the dirt, the mud, the clay beneath her feet and sculpts it into something beautiful and practical, but it has yet to go into the oven, the kiln, the K-I-L-N, in order to harden into something permanent or semi-permanent. No, at the 3, it's still in that malleable stage, that sculpting, moldable, mutable stage here. It is probably my favorite card in the deck. It's saying that you have everything that you need, but you're still in that process of putting it together, right? Last night, I made soup, right? So I had my parsnips and my carrots and my onions and my garlic and my chicken and my tomatoes and everything, had it all out, but it wasn't soup for another hour or so, right? I had to cut everything up, put it all together, you know, bring it to a boil, simmer, and all of that. So that initial phase, it's like on your mark, get set, but not quite go, right? But in that process of putting it together. So that makes sense for an artist, right? Now this is in terms of this relationship, so maybe she's wanting to make some change here. What does she have? Her element of earth. She has the 6 of Cups, compassion. So she has compassion and understanding here in terms of emotional balance. So maybe as a Divine Feminine, she's got that empathic piece there, and she's really perhaps feeling the pain of this orphan child archetype and wants to be sympathetic, wants to be of help, wants to be healing, wants to be loving. And remember, this nothing so far screaming romantic sexual context here, but really there's certain healing that the orphan child can only do by itself, like independence. No one can give you independence. It's something you have to grow into and find your own way on. And we'll talk about the orphan child on their own, because there's a lot to be said there. I can feel that. But for the 6 of Cups, we're looking at an emotionally balanced Divine Feminine artist, particularly in terms perhaps of being compassionate with herself as well as with the other. Hence that imagery of the ocean, right? The waves rolling in, ebb and flow, compassion for the self, compassion for another, compassion for herself, compassion for the world. And really artists need to do that, right? Particularly if they're creating not just product for the world, but to nurture their own process. Takes a lot of emotional balance. Particularly a lot of great art comes from emotional suffering. So how do you keep doing that, right? How do you keep putting out art to the world in whatever way, shape, or form if you are not being compassionate with your own emotional process? It's draining. Trust me, I know, I'm an artist. So what's she thinking? Well, the High Priestess, what she's thinking is that there's stuff that she knows but isn't letting on, right? She probably has some secrets. She probably has some secret, sacred, at least maybe spiritual or creative knowledge here. But also know that the card of the Priestess is a card not of uncertainty, but of mystery, right? Mystery, that this might all be a mystery to her in some ways as to why the Divine Masculine is the way that they are, or why they're together, or, you know, what she's supposed to do. The High Priestess does keep secrets, that's for sure. She does not reveal everything right away. If you look at the traditional Rider-Waite, the High Priestess, part of the scroll is covered, right? The one in her lap. So she doesn't tell all, and it's also very much a card not just of the subconscious, but of the intuition. So maybe her mind is more focused upon, as we see here with this emotional card of water, the 6 of Cups, more of what she's feeling, trying to feel this out as an artist would. What's going on in her element of water is the Ace of Pentacles. It definitely, she feels like there's a solid opportunity here. And a solid opportunity usually for a new beginning with an ace, but that is intuitive at this point, not necessarily something grounded into form, but a sense of a new beginning, or a sense she might be sensing a potential within this orphan child archetype, as we can see the potential in all children, but, you know, that potential to be a blessing or curse, you know, depending on how that plays itself out. But I can so get the feeling of compassion that she has for this Divine Masculine. And remember, I'm putting this in gendered language, but this could be 2 men, 2 women, you know, it doesn't matter. That's gonna be true across the quantum field for people who are watching this. So what's going on? All right, the voice of the soul, the card of spirit, is the Aquarian card. Now, I've been noticing in my readings for the past couple of months that the zodiacal-based cards, the cards based on the zodiac, court cards, have not really represented people all that terribly much. So much of they have been representing zodiacal or house energies, like Aquarius is the 11th house. And so the voice of the soul, sort of the counsel of the soul, is saying, pull back. Aquarius, even though this isn't an Aquarian, do the Aquarian thing, fixed air, pull back and up, see this from a larger place, use, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, use that, move up, use your, this is hard to say with a gap in your teeth, your sixth sense to see things from that higher place. There is a larger plan, there is a larger picture here. And by the way, it wouldn't shock me if somebody watching this reading is a mother dealing with a literal child, or perhaps somebody who is acting like a child in their light or in their shadow. So to see there's a maturation process going on here for both of them, but the artist with this compassion might really feel the potential here, but not really know how to bring that into form like an artist could, right? Looking at the orphan child archetype, look, a lot of our fictional heroes are orphans, right? Harry Potter, Dorothy Gale, Kal-El of Krypton, Peter Parker. I mean, it could go on. There are so many of them, it's almost ridiculous. And come on, almost every Disney hero has at least lost one parent. I mean, Cinderella, well, Cinderella predates Disney, but you know what I'm saying? Our fairy tale characters like that, right? So it's often about the orphan child finding their way on their own that allows them to become a hero. So let's ask the gods with this deck, the divine masculine, the divine yang energy, what's going on with this divine masculine orphan? Nice deep breath. My gods, please, 5 cards, element, spread, for this divine masculine orphan child archetype in this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. Please, element of fire, what is it that he wants and desires? Element of earth, what does he have to help him get that? That was pretty easy. Element of air, what is he? Element of air, what is he thinking? Okay. Element of water, what is he feeling? And element of spirit, what is the voice of the soul on this one? Pretty easy. So the child, the orphan child archetype wants the Ace of Cups, wants a new beginning, sort of feeling what the divine feminine is feeling here, but really wants perhaps an offer of love, a new emotion, a new beginning, a new happiness, just something new or something that feels new. Now, obviously, where we are on planet Earth, don't be shook or shocked by that. That makes sense, right? We're all wanting our new lives. But this is Aphrodite depicted in this deck, right? So there is something tender and emotional there. Now, just because it's the goddess of love doesn't necessarily mean this is romantic. But it does say a new, better feeling, wants to feel better. So it does indicate this orphan child may be feeling lonely, abandoned, neglected, which is usually the genre of the orphan child in terms of emotional dynamic. What's the element of earth to help him get that? The 9 of Wands. So maybe feeling a bit defensive in terms of close but no cigar. Here we have the ship, the Argo, from Jason and the Argonauts. They've already finished the quest almost, right? They've got the Golden Fleece. They're on their way back to deliver it, but they get stuck on the rocks right before they get into the harbor, so they can't quite complete, right? They've already launched, they've already almost completed the quest, but they can't quite get there. It's the 9 of Wands for me is very much close but no cigar, right? It's like you're so almost there, right? You're in that last 9 yards, but womp womp, not just yet. And this could totally be a delay. And I mean, come on, who's not dealing with that right now? There's all sorts of things I wanted to do for Beltane, right? I wanted to go to Beltane in the park in Huntington if you're from Long Island, right at the UU Church. I wanted to speak. I'm sure they would have asked me to if they didn't cancel it before they got a chance to ask me to be a speaker there. I love speaking at Beltane in the park. But, you know, not happening. I haven't even gone to the garden center yet. I had some seeds that I planted. So all sorts of things, like so close, but no cigar. So maybe has to deal with a bit of their own defensiveness, a bit of their own frustration at the inability to complete what's going on there. What's he thinking? Well, this is interesting. The Page of Cups, right? This is Narcissus, which is where we get the word narcissist from. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that this orphan child is a narcissist, although narcissists usually are created out of neglect rather than abuse, and an orphan child can often feel neglected. That's also what propels them onto the hero's journey, right? To achieve amazing things. But might be thinking about the self-reflection, right? That's the myth of Narcissus. See, that's why I think it's weird that they call it the narcissistic personality disorder, because Narcissus saw his own reflection. Narcissists can't, right? They can't. That's the irony of it, is that they can't see their part. Like, they blame everybody's everything, but it's never their fault, right? At least that's the overt narcissist. The superior narcissist. The covert narcissist is the exact opposite, but that's a whole other conversation there. It's all their fault, and they torture people for it. So maybe this is about self-love and self-reflection, like thinking about learning how to give himself the love that no one else can, right? That turning inward to find that Ace of Cups, because remember, in a twin flame contract, they cannot give you the love you want, particularly because that's the love that only you can give you, right? If that is the case, granted. We often want someone to give us romantic love, but all they can give us is friend love, right? Because they just I don't feel the same way about you that way, right? That's very twin flamey. How is he feeling in all of this? Good. The card of Temperance, right? Trying to find a balance, trying to heal this. Temperance is a very interesting word, particularly if you take it into cooking terms. Like if you want to temper eggs, if you're cooking with raw eggs and you want to put them in something like a sauce, but you don't want it to curdle, you have to add a warmer liquid to it slowly, gradually, to gently warm it slowly, so it doesn't curdle and turn into scrambled eggs. So looking here with Temperance here, that there is an emotional healing process going on. One perhaps where he is doing inner child work. Perfect example. It's not like you do inner child work once and then your inner child is healed forever, considering there's only one inner child we all share, the quantum aspect of all of that. We're always healing somebody's something, even if it's only 2% our own. But yeah, no, I feel that trying to strike an emotional balance there, finding their way. So this is an orphan child that perhaps, you know, is learning independence based on learning it to go alone and conquering the fear of surviving emotionally, finding their own way through this, which would make sense with this Page of Cups on their mind, right? Really getting the message of, I have to learn how to love myself. I have to learn how to, because what's the opposite of neglect, right? Nurturance, learning how to nurture himself. And remember, this can be female. I just always like to reiterate that gender part of this. What's the voice of the soul? The soul is saying, be strong. This is Heracles, the Greek name for Hercules, with the Nemean lion. Now, he had to go through 12 labors in order to regain his divinity. In other words, he was a god, lost his divinity, and got it back through kneeling, bowing, and surrendering. If you look at the 12 labors, you'll see that bear out here. So the voice of the soul is saying, yes, you are on a journey here. You are on a path of empowerment. This is very much like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, right? Having to find her head, her heart, her courage. Harry Potter, right? Going through all the years at Hogwarts, however you want to see it. But it is a journey, and it is a hero's journey. Yeah, I mean, my God, Batman. Like, how many orphan archetypes are heroes for us in fiction and in literature? A whole bunch. So, interesting. I really feel like these two could help each other. I just don't think that they can help each other heal, right? Well, it's like a teacher. I am a spiritual teacher. That's why check out, I'm doing meditations and these live streams that I'm doing and all of that. Check out, I've got some good content in my my back catalog on YouTube there. But really, all I can do is give people what works for me. I'm not a miracle worker. I mean, I'm a miracle worker in terms of A Course in Miracles. I'm a student and teacher of A Course in Miracles, which is odd for a witch, I know, but there you go. I'm an eclectic. And an orphan archetype. I'll find I can go my own way. Thank you very much. I'll blaze my own path. So I get this. Really liking this kid and really liking this artist. Really good people, but they just can't give each other what they want, but that doesn't mean they're not giving each other what they need by soul contract. One more card, right? I said 13. 5, 5, 1, 1, that's 12. Here's our 13th card, the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. Now, whoever is watching this, whether you identify as the Divine Feminine Artist or the Divine Masculine Orphan, just work this mantra. It will help you heal, right? It'll help you give yourself what the other cannot give you in terms of the healing and all that jazz. Nice deep breath. The voices of the Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity. A healing mantra card. What is the perfect healing mantra for this overall Cancerian collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for May, June 2020 involving this Divine Feminine Artist and this Divine Masculine Orphan, please. What is their perfect healing mantra for May, June 2020. Now, before I read this card, see, I'm not even looking. One side of it is the name of the mantra, the other the mantra itself. I would look up the name of the mantra in the book to read you what's written there because it's very helpful. Expanding inner power. Oh, I am at my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. Well, there we go, artist archetype, right? And maybe that is something that the orphan can learn from the artist, is how to express their creativity. I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. That's just wonderful. Expanding inner power, which is what the orphan is probably on a journey of that exact kind of empowerment. When inner power expands, you are able to openly communicate your truths, aspirations, and ideas as a way of circulating the energy that pours in from the cosmos. As energy gets circulated by the sharing of your ideas, the universe is given permission to pour more inspiration, passion, and joy into your energy field. As your inner power expands, creativity becomes the life force of source energy surging through you to inspire the embodiment of your highest self. See, that's so cool. Both of them can really, so no matter who you are in this, work this mantra. I am at my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. Because everybody's got creativity. Artist, you are a creative family archetype. Orphan child can absolutely give some creativity to its pain and its suffering as well as its joy and its dreams. Last bit here. This mantra is ideal for resolving creative blocks, healing traumas, ding, 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 and releasing blocks of stagnation. Totally makes sense. I'm going to pop up the picture of the whole spread. We'll do an overview and see what else comes of this. Shall we? Nice deep breath. Magic clap. We've got the Divine Feminine Artist archetype in the shadow attribute, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity in the light attribute, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically, which she can probably very much do for this orphan archetype. But what she wants in this twin flame relationship is to mold, right? That three of pentacles, the clay woman, that maybe she wants to mold this divine masculine, and has great compassion there in her element of earth, really is perhaps empathing this child's loneliness, their sense of abandonment, and yet in the mind here kind of gets that there's stuff here she doesn't know about, right? That card of veiled mystery, veiled secrets there, that intellectually she may not get the whole picture here, but wants to know more, but has in that intuitive field that Ace of Pentacles, a sense of great potential within this orphan archetype, and within this relationship in general. Again, I'm not seeing anything here that screams romantic sexual. So if you're thinking that's the only way this can manifest, really, if you're the divine feminine here, really look, who do you feel like there is potential in this relationship, but it's still just a seed and may not be what you want it to be, particularly if you're wanting to mold the clay here. Keep in mind the voice of the soul here, the Crone of Blades, Aquarius, the Eagle Woman says pull back, not pull away, pull back, pull up, see things from a higher perspective. The Eagle Woman has a pair of scissors in her hands. Really cut away that which does not serve, right? Cut away your own expectations. Not necessarily your own desires, if they are compassionate in nature, to help. But in terms of getting what you want here, this might really be more about getting what you need, that you cannot give each other, but must learn to give yourself. Jumping over here to the divine masculine orphan, the shadow attribute, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families, the light attribute, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. And what does he want? That Ace of Cups, a new beginning in love, whether it's self-love or just to feel better, right? In the Daughters of the Moon, the Ace of Cups is called happiness. So maybe just wants to experience some happy, right? But what he's got right now is to deal with that Nine of Wands, that defensiveness of why can't I just have what I want? And to understand, if you are the divine masculine watching this, or even if you are the divine feminine, everybody's dealing with this. Like, nobody is thrilled with the situations that they're in right now on planet Earth. You know why. So to really kind of deal with that and to give that a creative voice as this expanding inner power mantra. I'm most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. Well, express that creativity in a positive way. Write it, sing it, dance it, sculpt it, whatever. And maybe that is something that he can learn from this artist archetype. Because in the mental field, the element of air, he's got that Narcissus card, the Page of Cups, self-reflection, self-introspection, and maybe even pointing towards self-love and self-compassion. Because with that Temperance card, in the emotional field, the element of water here, that there is a willingness for discipline here to become emotionally balanced, so often associated with that card of the Temperance, pouring water from one cup to another, with the voice of the soul saying strength, that hang in there, courage, right? Hence that imagery of the lion, to be brave, to be strong, to balance the fire, the earth, the air, and the water in a way that allows the spirit to be stronger. Certainly feeling the grace of fortitude here, the grace of the heart chakra. So there's definitely some emotional stuff going on here. And the child is just part of their journey to develop that kind of Herculean strength. But may have to go through those 12 labors, symbolically speaking, learning how to surrender, to bow, and to kneel. And certainly this expanding inner power mantra then makes a lot more sense, particularly with the mantra, I am my most powerful, when my creativity is given a voice. And whether you are the divine feminine artist or the divine masculine orphan, we are looking at a very powerful mantra, expanding an inner powerful mantra for this twin flame contract, May-June 2020. Pretty clear, right? I love that the creativity is there with the artist and with that orphan. And it doesn't mean that they can't help each other. My father and I always use him as my example of twin flames. Not that he's the only twin flame contract I've had. A lot of them. I've had a lot of them. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the thing. But certainly you can learn a lot from each other, because these are teaching twin flame contracts, right? Learning from each other and learning how to give yourself what the other cannot give you by contract, right? So may this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame contracts for May, June 2020 to heal, to learn, to grow, to express their creativity and be more powerful than they ever have before, individually and collectively, for their own well-being and for the well-being of all concerned. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and feel free to comment in the comment section below, as I wish you the very best and the very blessed for May and June. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.